my very first business was actually on the computer. So for you young guys, that prior to the internet, the only way to connect with other people was using your little modem. Do you know what a modem is inside a computer? You ever hear those?
Yeah.
The dialing.
Is it
Yeah.
like the little disc thing?
No, it's like a little, it's like a chip, like a computer chip, I guess. It's called a modem. That would be in the back of your computer. You connect a phone line into it.
The blue cable, yeah.
A regular phone line, which landline that nobody has anymore. But using that landline, you could call from one computer
To another.
to another computer.
You
And when
dial, yeah.
You dial in, right? You dial, you connect, and now you're like connected together. That was basically the gist of.
But you gotta wait the weird sound that was making in the beginning.
Oh yeah. It's like a fax machine. It was like a really crazy sound. But when you're connected, what you could do is you can play text-based video games together. There was no graphics. You would say like go east or go west. Oh, hit this monster with a sword. You got to type it and it would happen, right? Or you can upload and download files, right? So there was a lot of JPEGs or GIF files that.
How are you learning this stuff? Because there was no.
Just through friends. You know,
Okay.
yeah, there wasn't
Books
any
too?
internet. No books. Just like, my friends would teach me this and I would
then you
learn
would-
that. And we kind of taught each other.
Self-learn. That's
Yeah, we were like 12, 13-year-old little computer nutcases. But my first business was opening what's called a bulletin board system.
How old were you?
I was 14 years
14 years
Yeah.
old.
So BBS is what it stands for, was the first version of the internet. And so my computer had 8 of those modems and 8 phone lines. Now, back then, the phone company was Bell Atlantic, it was called. So you had to call the phone company and get 8 lines put in. And they're like, well, what the heck do you need 8 lines for?
What are you doing?
I have a large family. Everybody wants to have a phone. And the reason why I had to do it that way, because a residential line was only like $10 a month. If you get but residential lines, usually you get 2 or 3. You want more than 2 or 3, now they consider that a business. A business line is $30 a month, so 3 times higher. So I tricked Bell Atlantic at the age of 14 on giving me 8 residential lines, because I told them I have a huge family and a lot of sisters, and they are always on the phone. And so they need to be able to call. And so Bell Atlantic connected 8 phones. Now, with what that would do is it would allow 8 other people to dial into my computer. I would be the host, and I charge them $10 a month for that. And then when they're on my computer, they can, download video games to each, like files or whatever, transfer files, chat, play games and stuff like that. So that was the beginning of internet per se.
So your first 8 clients
you
were like
were-
your friends, or
Just
people?
You were a hosting platform then?
I was a hosting platform, and it was called Bulletin Board Service, BBS.
Where did the insight for that come from? Was it just you?
So this software was really written for companies that needed that kind of a model, so that other users or whatever would dial in. So we just basically took the software and kind of made it work for in our situation, like on a more of an entertainment basis versus a company basis. And then for that, we charged them $10 a month, and people would pay and dial in, and they were members of.
For how long you were doing?
I did that for a few years, but then already like 95 came around, and America Online. America Online? That was like also the first internet kind of. And so people stopped using our service, and they started switching to America Online. And then it was Prodigy, CompuServe, all kinds of other services came about until they were all dead, and then the internet took over. But anyway, so that was the side story. The reason why I'm telling you this is because my whole life, I thought I wanted to be a computer programmer. And being a computer nerd, of course, I went to college, got a degree in programming, and got my very first job. Of course, this was right after Y2K, when all the programmers were fired. Because, they were hiring all these people before the year 2000, thinking that the whole
booming.
world was going to end. They thought once 2000 comes around, all the computer systems are going to crash. Do you know why? Or do you want me to give,
They were probably
Give a little
born,
bit of
yeah.
backstory.
the
You
reason
guys were
being,
born that year, yeah.
in order to save on memory space, all the programmers programmed a 2-digit year. So 1980, they would just put 80. 1987 would be 87. So they're like, so what's going to happen when 2000 comes? Is the system going to think it's 1900? Or is it going to know that it's 2000, right? Because the only thing you would be having is two zeros. And so they hired everybody, all the banks, all the systems, hired a whole bunch of programmers to go in and reprogram all the years to be a 4-digit year instead of a 2-digit year. And so I was in school at the time, but obviously there was a huge programming boom. And then in 2002, when I graduated, all those programmers were let go, and I couldn't find a job as a result of it, because you got seasoned programmers with a lot of experience looking for work, and you got someone like me who just graduated college, don't know what the hell I'm doing, looking for work.